You wake up one morning, and there's this ache in your back that just won't quit. You tell yourself it's nothing. Maybe you slept funny, or it's just what happens when you've been around as long as you have. But then, day after day, it lingers, and you start to wonder if something's really wrong, even though the doctor says everything checks out fine. It's frustrating, isn't it? And it's so easy to brush it off as part of getting older. But here's the thing. Sometimes, those little nagging pains, or even that fog that creeps into your mind, aren't just about age. They can be quiet whispers of something deeper, like depression, trying to get your attention. I'm so glad we're here together to talk about this, because depression in our later years isn't something we often chat about openly, yet it touches so many lives, maybe even yours or someone you care about. It's not just feeling blue for a day or two. It's a real condition that can sneak up on us, wearing a disguise that makes it tricky to spot. And why does it matter so much for us? Because recognizing it can change everything. It can lift that heavy cloud, bring back some joy, and help you feel more like yourself again. You deserve that, don't you? To live these years with as much lightness and connection as possible. Over our time together, we'll explore some simple ways to notice those hidden signs of depression, things that might surprise you, like how it can show up in your body or your daily habits. We'll look at what's behind it, how to spot it in yourself or someone you love, and most importantly, what you can do about it that feels doable, even on a quieter day. It's all about taking small steps to feel better, stay connected, and keep enjoying the things that matter to you. Let's start with something that hits close to home for a lot of us, those physical complaints that don't seem to have an explanation. You know what I mean. Maybe it's that stubborn headache, or your stomach acting up more than usual, or even feeling dizzy out of nowhere. You go to the doctor and they run their tests, but everything comes back normal. It's puzzling, right? I remember my friend Margaret, she's 68 now, and for months she kept saying her knees ached like they never had before. She'd laugh it off saying, "Oh, it's just my old bones." But the pain stuck around, even after her doctor said there was no arthritis or injury to blame. It wasn't until she opened up about feeling off in other ways that her doctor suggested it might be tied to depression. See, our bodies have this funny way of talking to us when our hearts and minds are carrying something heavy. Depression doesn't always show up as sadness, especially as we get older. It can hide in things like chronic aches, unexplained weight loss, or even that sense that something's wrong health-wise, even when the evidence says otherwise. It's completely understandable to think it's just physical at first. Many of us do. So, what can you do? Start by noticing if those complaints keep coming back, even after the doctors ruled out the usual suspects. Jot them down if you can. It doesn't have to be fancy, just a little note on your phone or a scrap of paper. Then ask yourself, am I feeling worn out or disconnected alongside this? That's a gentle way to check in with yourself, and it might be the first clue that something more is going on. Building on that idea, another sign that often slips under the radar is how depression can play tricks on your mind, making it feel like your memory's fading faster than it should. You might find yourself standing in the kitchen, wondering why you walked in there, or struggling to focus on a book you used to love. It's so easy to chalk it up to senior moments, isn't it? My neighbor Tom, he's 72, used to pride himself on remembering every detail of his grandkids' stories. But a couple of years ago, he started forgetting little things, like where he parked his car at the store. He'd joke about it, but I could tell it rattled him. He even worried it might be dementia creeping in. Turns out, after talking to his doctor, it wasn't dementia at all. It was depression clouding his thinking. That's the sneaky part. Depression can mimic memory loss or make it hard to concentrate, and it's not uncommon for it to get mistaken for something else. You're certainly not alone if you've felt that frustration of losing your train of thought more often lately. The good news? There's a way to sort it out. Try keeping a simple routine, like setting a spot for your keys every day or writing down one thing you want to get done. If the fog sticks around even with those tricks, it might be worth a chat with your doctor or a trusted friend. It's not about fixing everything overnight. It's just about noticing what's different and giving yourself permission to look a little closer. It's amazing how much those little shifts in your mind can tell you when you start paying attention, isn't it? And this relates closely to another way depression can quietly slip into our lives, through uncharacteristic changes in how we act every day. You might notice you're just not doing things the way you used to. Maybe you've always been the one to step out for a morning walk or keep the house tidy, but lately you're avoiding leaving home more than usual. Or perhaps you've started holding on to things, old newspapers, extra groceries, when you used to clear clutter without a second thought. I think of my old friend Bill, who's 66 now. He was always the guy who'd fix anything. Bikes, leaky faucets, you name it. But a while back, his daughter noticed he'd stopped tinkering in the garage. Instead, he was spending hours sorting through boxes of odds and ends, almost like he was building a little fortress of stuff around him. She even caught him giving away some of his favorite tools, which wasn't like him at all. It wasn't until they talked it through that they realized he'd been feeling low for months. Depression was nudging him into these new, unfamiliar habits. That's the thing. These changes can feel so subtle, like they're just part of life shifting as we get older. Maybe you've caught yourself saying no to a coffee date you'd normally love, or pouring an extra glass of wine more often than before. It's completely understandable to think, well, I've earned the right to slow down, and you have. But if those shifts feel heavier, like they're pulling you away from who you are, there's a simple step you can take. Try jotting down one thing you've stopped doing that you used to enjoy, or something new you're doing that doesn't feel quite right. Then, pick one small way to nudge yourself back, like stepping outside for 5 minutes or calling a friend instead of waiting for them to call you. It's not about big leaps. It's about reclaiming a piece of your day that feels good. Of course, alongside those behavioral shifts, there's another sign that ties right into how we're feeling day to day, pulling back from the people around us. You might find yourself stepping away from friends or family, even if you can't quite put your finger on why. Gatherings you once looked forward to, like a card game with neighbors or a Sunday lunch with the kids, start feeling like too much effort. It's not that you don't care. It's more like there's this invisible wall keeping you from reaching out. My Aunt Clara, bless her, went through this a few years ago when she hit 70. She'd always been the life of the party, planning picnics, hosting bingo nights. But after her husband passed, she started declining invitations, saying she was just tired. We all thought she needed time, and she did, but it stretched on for months. Her phone stopped ringing, as much because she wasn't calling back, and she'd sit quietly at home instead of joining us like she used to. It broke my heart to see her so isolated, and it wasn't until she admitted she felt empty that we realized depression had crept in. It's so common to pull back like that, especially after a big loss or change, retirement, an empty nest, or just the way time shifts our routines. You're not alone if you felt that tug to stay in your own little world. So, what can you do? Start small. Really small. Send a quick text to someone you've missed, even if it's just thinking of you. Or set a goal to say yes to one invite this week, even if it's just for a short visit. You don't have to dive back into everything at once. It's about cracking the door open to let a bit of connection back in. That little spark can do wonders for lifting your spirits, even if it feels tough at first. That small step of reaching out can really shift things, can't it? And this ties so closely to another way depression likes to hide, through how it messes with your sleep. You might find yourself staring at the ceiling at night, unable to drift off, or waking up way too early and just lying there, restless. Or maybe it's the opposite, sleeping more than usual, yet still feeling like you could nap all day. It's exhausting either way, isn't it? I remember my cousin Ed, who's 73. He used to be up with the sun, ready to tend his garden. But a while back, he started complaining about waking up at 3 a.m., tossing and turning, and then feeling groggy all day. He'd say, "I guess my body's just done with sleeping, right?" But it wasn't until he opened up about feeling down that we connected the dots. Sleep's one of those things we don't always link to our mood, especially as we get older. After all, who hasn't had a restless night now and then? But when it keeps happening, it's worth a closer look. You might try something simple to ease into better rest, like setting a little wind-down routine, maybe a cup of herbal tea, or a few minutes with a good book instead of the TV. Keep it gentle, nothing too demanding, and see if it helps you settle. If that tired feeling sticks around no matter what, though, it could be a hint to chat with your doctor. Getting that rest back can make such a difference in how you feel overall. It's like giving your spirit a chance to recharge. And speaking of how you feel day to day, another sign that's easy to miss is when your appetite starts playing tricks on you. Maybe food just doesn't taste as good anymore, and you're skipping meals without meaning to. Or perhaps you're reaching for snacks more often, looking for a bit of comfort. It sneaks up quietly, doesn't it? My friend Lois, she's 69, used to love cooking big suppers for her family. But after she lost her sister, she told me she'd go days barely eating. Just a piece of toast here or there. She dropped some weight without trying, and it worried her kids. On the flip side, I've known others who start eating more, like they're trying to fill something that's missing inside. It's so understandable to lose interest in food or lean on it when life feels heavy. Does that ring true for you at all? The trick is to notice it without judging yourself. Try keeping a little something easy on hand, like a piece of fruit or a handful of nuts, so you're not forcing it, but still nourishing yourself. If you're eating more than feels good, maybe swap one snack for a quick walk or a call to a friend. It's not about perfection. It's just about finding a balance that keeps you steady. These small adjustments really can add up to feeling more like yourself again. Now, as we've been chatting about all this, it's clear how these signs, like sleep troubles or appetite changes, can weave into your life so quietly you hardly notice until they're settled in. But here's the beautiful thing. Spotting them is the first step to turning things around. You don't have to tackle it all at once. Just pick one thing that feels doable, like leaving the house for a few minutes or sipping that tea before bed. Every little bit counts, and you're worth that effort. It's not about being perfect. It's about giving yourself the kindness you'd offer a dear friend. I'd love to hear what you think. Maybe you've got a tip that's worked for you, or something you've noticed in your own life. Drop it in the comments below. We're all in this together, learning from each other. And if this chat's been helpful, give it a little like. It lets me know you found it worth your time. Better yet, subscribe if you'd like more talks like this about living well after 60. Take good care, and here's to making every day a little brighter.